Hello there everybody, how's it going? It's Jessie from Jessie Marie Does Stuff here on FlossTube, and I am coming to you on this Friday, February 10th, 2023 with my next update video. So a 2-week turnaround like I mentioned. We are back for another FlossTube update. Before I get into everything, I'd like to say welcome to both my returning viewers as well as anybody who is new here. Thank you all so much for spending some time of your day with me. I just very much appreciate it. FlossTube, it's impossible. I mean, it's so big. And so y'all choosing to spend some time with me, it means a lot. So what do we have to talk about here today? I have some stitching to share with you. I have the projects that I have worked on over the last couple of weeks. I have a little bit about plans. I have some haul, and I have some books to talk about. We're gonna kind of wait and see what the timeline is, if I talk about books this time or if I save it till next time, because I don't have a big window here, so we'll see. We will see. So before I get into all of that, though, a couple of preemptive things, if you will. I need to start off by sending a huge hug and a huge thank you to Patricia. Patricia used my coffee link and she bought me a coffee, and so thank you very much, Patricia. That is so sweet. As I mentioned last time, any monies sent to me via coffee are going to become some FFOs. I have something at the framer now that I hope to be able to pick up in the next couple of weeks to share with you in an upcoming video. So again, Patricia, thank you, and thank you to anybody who has bought me a coffee. Your generosity is unbelievable. It's amazing. So thank you very much. On the subject of FFOs, I know that I promised to have an FFO in each of my updates, and I don't have one to show you today. I feel really bad about it, but yeah, time just got away from me. And so I don't have an FFO. So I'm going to try to make up for it in my next update with a couple of things. With a few things. Let's I'll try to make up for it. So who placed their bet on Jessie would fail first week? You win. So there's that. Another thing that may spark some conversation is my t-shirt. So this is a shirt from Kind Cotton, and it says, love, empathy, compassion, inclusion, justice, and kindness. Kind Cotton is a company I can happily get behind, and I got a couple of their t-shirts. This one as well as a reproductive rights one, but I wore that this week because they are incredibly soft, super cozy, and so I thought that I would wear this one today. I also got some of their stickers, because at the end of my videos I say, as always, be kind, and this is what I mean. Kindness is empathy. Kindness is justice. Kindness is love. Kindness is compassion. And I think I have another one, but they all kind of toppled off of my table earlier. I think I have kindness is inclusion somewhere here. It's basically this shirt reiterated in stickers. So I just thought that I would share those with you. Those are going to go into my journal. I have a stitchy journal that I am using very sporadically, that perhaps, that perhaps I will share with you at a later date. But I just thought that I would mention that because there's some words on my shirt. So anyway, so there's that. So that's all of the preemptive stuff that I'd like to go over with you for now. So let's get into the stitching. Let's look at the projects that I have worked on over the last couple of weeks. When last we spoke, I was working on the Fantasy Sal by Lakeside Needlecraft and Durene Jones. So preview here of what that will look like finished. I was working on this for my January WIPGO call, / I just didn't want to stop working on it, and so I kept going for, I think, an extra day or so. So we worked on that for a couple more days, and let me show you the progress. And this was only 2 weeks ago, but it feels like a lot longer. for some reason. So here's where I am up to. Or down to. Yeah, I always struggle with that. I always say up to, but it's really down to because I like to work down. So I was working on borders last go round. I think I did this flower after my last video. What's that thread? There it is. I think I did that after my last video. I could be mistaken. I do know that after my last video, I had to re-scroll down a little bit further to get to this medallion, this little bit of the border over here. So that was pretty exciting. And I also did all of the back stitch for the area that I had available to me beforehand. So all of these little guys that are back stitched, that is all done. So I know that I had talked about focus on a finish of Fantasy Sal for February. And I don't know if that's going to happen because here we are at the 10th. I haven't worked on it yet. I'm running behind on my goals and I have a lot of them. So I think that this is going to be a piece that I work on monthly to get finished this year. I know that I talked about Glory of Autumn being the only thing that I thought I might finish, but I'm going to finish this year. I am determined and I feel really good about it. So I think that the finish is going to happen in April because my plan is to do a page a month and there are 3 pages left. So that's going to be the plan. I'm going to do a page a month and see this done in April. So this will come out for its Whip Go rotation here in February because like I said last time, it was called for February as well. And then I'm going to work on it again in March and April. And I may have to bump some full coverage goals to make that happen, but c'est la vie. That's okay. And if I get it done in March, then I get it done in March. But I want this done. I want this done. I'm ready to see this finished. So that is the Fantasy Sal. Cute, cute, cute. The fabric here is a 32 count Belfast linen in Heroic by Picture This Plus. I am stitching this 2/2 full cross. On the humanoid characters, I stitched the skin 1/1 because I am that much of a glutton for punishment, I suppose. And then all of the colors as called for, all of the DMCs called for which I'm only using a handful nowadays, just blues and purples. So that is the Fantasy Sal. Finish up the rotation on Fantasy Sal, and I needed to work on a couple more full coverage pieces. Those were my last 2 goals and my last 2 or 3 days of the month of January. I didn't have a whole lot of time, but that's okay. I didn't need a ton of progress. So my next piece to work on was Quick Stitch Day and Night. This is artwork by Nadia Strelkina. It is charted by Heaven and Earth Designs. You'll be seeing a preview here of what it will look like finished. It's called a quick stitch because it is a crop. It's basically half of a design called Day and Night. And I fell head over heels in love with the night portion. So it is a crop of that total design. The day section kind of sits on top. So it's literally just split in half. So my goal for this piece was by the numbers 1,000. My lofty goal was the page finish, but as you can see, I did not get there. Just ran out of time, but that's okay. I did get to 1,000 stitches, and I love how it's looking. I really, really love it. I love these colors, and I love that I'm immediately seeing something. There's a building there. It's just very, very cool. I love Strelkina artwork. It's very, very like grim fairy tale feeling. So that is where I got to with Quick Stitch Day and Night. So I'm going to give you all some numbers on my full coverage pieces. Let me know if this is something you would like me to continue, or if you hate it and you just don't care for the numbers. But on Quick Stitch Day and Night, I am now at 7,080 stitches of 210,648. So that equates to 3.36% complete, which is not a lot. So I use an app called Stitch Pal, and it is an app that if you input the number of stitches you do each day and you know exactly how many stitches are in the piece, a la anything in Pattern Keeper, then it will calculate for you an estimated finish date based on how much you do. And so my estimated finish date for this one is September 25th of the year 2102. I don't plan to still be here at that point, so hopefully I can get things in gear and finish it long before that. I find it fascinating, and it's also kind of a situation of I'm racing the computer like, I'm gonna beat you. But keep in mind that I started this piece in April of 2020, and this is all I've gotten done in nearly 3 years here. So it's not exactly surprising that the expected finish date is so far in the future, because I'm stitching very slowly on this one, very sporadically, very infrequently. So that is Quick Stitch Day and Night, 25 count easy grid Lugana from Zweigart. I'm stitching using the called for DMCs. With the exception of black, I have subbed in Anchor Black and 1/1 full cross. This is also one that calls for Kreinik at some point further on down the line. I think the moon has some Kreinik in it. And I will probably sub that out for just white. We'll see. We'll see how I feel about it when I get there in a long time. So there is Quick Stitch Day and Night. My final goal for the day, I had a half a day to try to accomplish it. I think that reaching 1,000 stitches on Quick Stitch Day and Night took me a little bit into the 31st, and so I had a half a day to try to accomplish my goal on Quick Stitch Once Upon a Fairytale 2, artwork by Aimee Stewart, also charted by Heaven and Earth Designs, preview here. So it just couldn't happen. I mean, I couldn't get there. I couldn't get the finish of my goal, which was by the numbers 500. I couldn't do it. This piece is a little bit awkward. I stitch on it on my big Millennium frame. The only way that I can reach the far left side where I'm at right now is to use my long frame adapter with my Lowry. It's all just very cumbersome and very awkward. It's something that I hope will improve here very soon. And it certainly is easier the further into the page that I get. So I'm just going to have to chip away at it 500 stitches a month as I am. So I didn't quite get the goal on the 31st, which is all right. I have resolved myself for it. So then it got to be the 1st, and I was like, well, I may as well just continue and get by the numbers 500 taken care of here first thing at the beginning of February. So that's what I did. I worked on this again on the 1st, and I did get my by the numbers 500 for February done on day 1. So that was pretty cool. So obviously the progress that you're going to see here is for both of those days, or the progress that I made in both January and February. So here's where we're up to. Again, down 2. So yeah, some fun things are happening. We've got some new colors, some golds and oranges, working my way in there. I have a couple of confetti stitches yet to fill in, but I hit 500, I think 502 exact stitches. I just didn't need to fill in those confetti stitches just yet. When I'm using my long frame adapter, it's difficult to flip to the back, so I tend to prioritize things I don't have to flip to the back to. especially when I'm on a time crunch. So again, 25 count easy grid Lugana from Zweigart, 1/1 full cross with the called for DMCs except black, which I'm using Anchor Black. And some numbers on this one. This one is fun. I am at 2,941 stitches of 455,625. That equates to 0.65%. And my projected finish date on this one, place your bets now. Do you think it's before 2102 or after 2102? It's before. 11/21 of 2054. So another 30 odd years. But this one was just started at the end of November, early December, something like that. So that's why much less time has passed. And so that's why the calculations are different. I think I'm averaging 12 stitches a day on Quick Stitch Day and Night, and I'm averaging 39 stitches a day on Quick Stitch Once Upon an Understatement. That's the nickname that Mika gave this piece. She's working on it too, and it's the most perfect nickname. Again, it's a crop, and I think that this crop came from the supersize edition of the full Once Upon a Fairytale piece. So anyway, I love it, and this is going to get monthly 500 stitches, but I'm done for February. I really liked that. I liked ending January and then kicking off with this one in February. So I might do that. It might be my ender and beginning piece. But we'll see. We will see. So there is Quick Stitch Once Upon a Fairytale 2. So let me give you some end of January stats because we're right about there as far as the timeline is concerned with all of this. All right, so I started the month with 77 works in progress, and I finished the month with 76. It wasn't a finish, it was a UFO, but nonetheless, brought my whip count down to 76. I worked on 11 unique projects in the month of January. I completed 17,948 stitches, which is pretty good. Last January 2022 was significantly better, but that's okay. I'm not stressed about it. I'm just curious. I'm just curious about that stuff. I had no new starts. I had the one UFO. I had 2 0 stitch days. I could really count a third, but I have 2 official 0 stitch days in January. So there it is. That's all right. I was sick. And then I had 1 page finish, 1 full coverage page finish. So those are some stats for you. And I hope that you enjoyed the montage of the projects that I worked on. I used to do those in monthly recaps on Instagram, and I kind of got away from that, but I still make the collages. And so I thought I'd stick it in here so that y'all can see it. It doesn't include the UFO, but anyway. So that is January. So January done and dusted. Now let's get further into February, I should say. I hope you're not tired of full coverage yet because we're not done with full coverage yet. So heading into February, I had no idea what I was going to do, how I was going to accomplish all of the things that I thought I might try to accomplish. Focus on a finish of Fantasy Self for February, full coverage February, Fancy Lady February. I'd really like to have some new starts. I wasn't sure how I was going to accomplish it all. And so I just created a wheel. And so I guess that February is really just bog standard for me. All of the projects that I want to work on this month go into a wheel and I spin it. And so the next project to spin was Personal Sunshine. So preview here of what this will look like finished. This is artwork by Jeremiah Ketner. It is charted by Heaven and Earth Designs. And it lives in this gorgeous project bag. This is by the Brass Button. and I love this bag. So my first goal for Personal Sunshine each and every month is 5,000 stitches. It is my by the numbers 5,000 piece until I get my goal of 7 page finishes. However, 5,000 stitches would put me at about 1,000 stitches away from the page finish. And with it being full coverage February, it feels right to stretch a little bit on the full coverage and try to reach that page finish. So first goal is 5,000. If I get to spend some more time on it and get the page finish, great. That will be icing on the cake. So here's the progress that I made. I did not reach either of those goals. I'm at about 2,500 stitches. I wanted to break it up a little bit, work on some other things, and try to piecemeal this rather than get burnt out. I'm worried that if I work too hard on this, I'm gonna burn out on it and I'm not gonna want to work on it anymore. So I worked on this for a few days. I don't remember how many. It is irrelevant. I got to 2,500 stitches on page 8. I'm working on page 8 here. And I got into some hair, which is very exciting. There's this little curl of hair here, and in there I will get to the first bits of her skin. I think at the bottom of this page I might see an eyelid. Her eyes are closed, but I might see an eyelid on this page. I have reached the right side of the page. I have not yet reached the bottom in my diagonal blocks. So that's where I am up to. This is, again, down to. This is a 25 count Lugana. It's not an easy grid or anything. It's just a plain cream Lugana, I think, from Zweigart. 1/1 full cross, anchor black slipped in for black, otherwise it's the DMCs. This is my oldest Heaven and Earth design, and I'm enjoying it. I'm still enjoying it. I really like the mix that I get here. So I get some background with some colors in it. The transition from background to her hair is some confetti, and then there's some solid stitching in here for her hair. I know that it's looking a little bit spotty, but it's okay. It's gonna be all right. Heaven and Earth designs are meant to be viewed at gallery distance, so it's gonna be just fine. I'm not worried about it. Despite what I might have said in the past. So there is that. And with this one, I am at 34,659 stitches of 106,000 even. So this one's little. This is my smallest HAED. It's not my smallest full coverage, but it's my smallest HAED. I am at 32.70% complete. I am very close to that 1/3 mark. And I think that the page finish will get me there. I haven't done the math yet, but I think the page finish will get me to 33.33%. That also means that Stitch Pal gives me the estimate that I will finish this on 2/18 of 2038. So 15 years. I plan to beat it. I plan to finish this in 2024. And that number, every time I work on this, it ticks down a little bit. I lose a few months every time I work on this one. So that is Personal Sunshine by HAED, artwork by Jeremiah Ketner. So I reached a happy point with Personal Sunshine and I spun the wheel. Hoping for not full coverage, but also willing to go with whatever the wheel told me. So I was pleasantly surprised when this project came up next. It lives in this project bag. This is by the Painted Leaf Company. It is a Teresa Kogut fabric. And what lives in here is my A Year at Hawk Run Hollow by Carriage House Samplings. This is the back of the cover sheet, but I just turned that one out because I like to see the full view of this piece. So this was my New Year's Eve 12 by 12 start, and I was stoked to work on it again. I was so excited to get to work on this again. Because I was only able to put in New Year's Eve on this piece was going to get a guaranteed 4 days no matter what, no matter how many stitches I did, it was going to get a guaranteed 4 days. So I gave it 4 days. And I could have given it a lot more than 4 days. This is on a 40 count Newcastle linen in Vintage Country Mocha by Zweigart. And because it's February, I decided to start the February block. Now, the next time I work on this, be it this year or not, and really, it's supposed to be a not, but, you know, we'll see. I'm just going to continue with the February block because I have the threads pulled for this block. So I'll just focus on this block and then we'll see. I could technically bounce around, but that's never been my style. Really, this is kind of bothering me a little bit that I have jumped ahead and not finished the January block. But anyway, so I got started on the February block. So if you compare this to the cover photo, you will notice that mine is a little bit different. And that's my skaters. So I changed the color of the skaters' clothes. And the reason for that is my husband and I are Hokies. We are both Virginia Tech alum. He comes from a long line of Virginia Tech alum. Yeah. And the skaters are charted in orange and blue. Our rival, both in state and just kind of in general, is the University of Virginia. And their colors are orange and navy, but we'll generalize here, orange and blue. And in specific, the me here has got an orange hat, an orange scarf, an orange belt on her skirt. The flowers have little orange centers, and then her skirt is majority blue. Nope, I can't do it. I can't do it. On top of that, Auld Lang Syne. They sing Auld Lang Syne, University of Virginia. They sing Auld Lang Syne at their football games. And I love Auld Lang Syne. It's one of my favorite songs. And so with it being Auld Lang Syne here and then orange and blue here, I just couldn't do it. Couldn't do it. So we hokified this one a little bit. Now, are these skaters my husband and I? Not really, because he's never ice skated before. And his hair is blonde, not brown. And he also would never wear a hat. He's not a hat guy. He's a hard hat guy, but he's not a it's cold outside, I'm going to put a hat on guy. So it's not really us, but it's an artistic representation of us. And so I just had to make them orange and maroon, and it was easy to do. I just subbed out the blue called for DMC 902, which is a spectacular edition of Chicago Maroon. I do not plan to hokify everything. So for instance, the June block, our wedding anniversary is in June, and we got married at Virginia Tech. I'm not putting these two characters in orange and maroon. I'm not changing these colors to orange and maroon. It's not gonna be like that. It was just this very obvious one I had to change. I loved stitching this. I loved every minute stitching this. I thought that I was going to have a hard time with the big back and forth with the skating pond there. Nope, no problem at all. I haven't stitched in the letters, so it's negative space right now. I had so much fun with this. I really did. And I am sad that this is all it's going to get this year. This is all it's supposed to get this year. My goal for this piece was 4 days, and I have done that. So I don't know. I don't know. If I was somebody who did the 25/7, I love the idea of 25/7 or 100 stitches a day or 30 minutes a day or what have you. This would be a great candidate for that for me, but I'm not. It's just not me. I'm really bad at working on multiple projects in a day. Something usually gets forgotten. So I hope that I can work on this again this year, but I also have Halloween at Hawk Run Hollow still yet to come out, so maybe that will be enough to satiate me. Probably not. Probably not. Anyway, that is A Year at Hawk Run Hollow, the February block. Zooming right along, we are down to the last project. So I finished up my 4 days on A Year at Hawk Run Hollow. On Wednesday? Yes, Wednesday this week I had a 0 stitch day for a migraine because we had roofers here on Monday and Tuesday. And so it was a 0 stitch day on Wednesday. So after that, I spun the wheel and I got my next project. Actually, I think I spun it before then, but because it's on 40 count, I was like, I'm not testing the migraine on 40 count. Not doing that. So that is a project that lives in this bag. This is a vintage Owl Lady project bag. And there is the inside. Very whimsical, very gorgeous. And in here is, appropriately, my Moonlight sampler. So I also didn't want to work on this on migraine day because I knew I wouldn't get much progress, but my goal for this piece is 3 days or 1,300 stitches, whichever comes first. And that's it for the year. I wanted all 3 of those days to be really good days. So I just decided to scratch Wednesday and start up my rotation yesterday. Start up my rotation on Thursday. So this I am stitching using, I think, the called for DMCs and none of the called for overdyes. Maybe one. But I have done a massive overhaul of the threads just to go with what I had in stash. It calls for Weeks Dye Works, and so I subbed for mostly Gentle Arts. So here is the progress that I have made, and I am reaching my first stumbling point with my conversion. Maybe not my first, but certainly a big stumbling point. So the fabric here is 40 count Newcastle linen in Prairie Dust by Color and Cotton. And I am stitching this 1/2 full cross mostly. I'm sure there will be some back stitch. I don't think there's any 1/1 in this one. And yeah, I'm not super thrilled with the way that those flowers are looking. Not super thrilled with that. The fabric that Janine calls for is a Lakeside linen, so that's not happening, especially not in a 40 count. But I think that it's darker. I'm sure that it is darker than my Prairie Dust here. And so I'm sure that that shows up a lot better on, I think it's Wood Smoke or Vintage Wood Smoke. I'm going to hold off on any rash decisions until I stitch the centers and some more of the border around it. It might not be such a big deal that the flowers aren't as visible because everything else looks really good. So if the flowers aren't as visible, it might be okay. I don't know. I'm on the fence. Tell me what you think, y'all. Is it too light? Do I need to go back to the drawing board with that yellow? The centers of these flowers are an orange, and so I will stitch that in and then see where I'm at from there. And I'm only halfway done with the flowers too, so we'll see. But anyway, I love this piece. I love this piece so very much. It is a lot of fun to stitch. You get kind of a bunch of flowers or a moth or an animal. So it feels like mini finishes. So this is my piece through tomorrow. And I am hoping to reach the right side here because I want to stitch on that Luna Moth. I want to stitch the Luna Moth really bad. Because it's gorgeous. It's huge, but it's gorgeous. So I want to stitch that. You know, her flowers aren't super visible either. I mean, they're more visible than mine, but they're not like in your face. They're not really meant to be. So maybe I just leave it. Thanks, y'all. Thanks for your help. So that is where I'm up to with Moonlight Sampler. And this will get today and tomorrow. And hopefully I can hit 1,300 stitches in that time. I'm filming today, so there goes a chunk of time. And then tomorrow, hubby and I are going to celebrate Valentine's Day because it's the weekend. And so we have kiddo sitters available on the weekend. So we'll see how much progress I get. We're given some limited time these next couple of days. But we'll see. So there is Moonlight Sampler. Because that's what I'm currently working on. We're going to lead into plans here. So I'm working on that, like I said, today and tomorrow. And maybe on Sunday if I haven't hit 1,300 stitches, because I would like to hit 1,300 stitches on everything this year. And since that's the only time it's going to come up for Whip Go, better work on it now. So that's the plan for that. And then after that, I had fully intended on spinning the wheel and just continuing in that way for the rest of the month. I have some full coverage goals. I have, this is only 2 of my 6 Whip Goes for this month, so there's plenty to work on. And then this morning I see Chris, the camping stitcher, is talking about doing an Anton Offendal start this weekend. And I have had it in my head that I was going to restart Anton Offendal this year. Hadn't quite settled on when, but I was planning on restarting that this year. So I brought it just in case. So it lives in this project bag. This was a beautiful bag that was gifted to me by Belinda Aussie Stitcher. It is done by Jan's Stitching Necessities. This is the original book with Anne and Isabella in the same book. I bought this auction style a number of years ago and had a new start on it on the 1st, and I can't even remember what year that was. I wasn't totally happy with my fabric each time that I worked on it. I wasn't totally loving my fabric, and so I scrapped that whip and decided that I was going to restart it at a later date. And this weekend might be that later date. I would really like to get this going. I love this piece, and yeah, I would really like to get it going. So I have the Auvera Soie d'Alger. I have my linen, which I am going with a, this is just a Zweigart Cream Newcastle linen. I still have my original in here, and that is a Dusky Twilight by Dixie Sampler. And I just decided that I wanted something warmer to go with this design. That fabric is a Lakeside Linens. I think it's vintage buttercream. I can't get that. So Zweigart Cream is much warmer than this beautiful, very soft gray that I have a fat half of and will definitely find something to do with. But I think I'm going to put it on this. So I may start that this weekend. I don't know. I am of 2 minds about it. I have so many goals to work on, and I want to be able to give this a good chunk of time to be able to get far enough along into it to feel like I've got a decent start. I haven't had any new starts this year, and so Startapalooza is like, it's starting to build up. Like I want to start all of the things. But I have a lot of goals, and I want to reach those goals. So I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what happens. I think that what I've decided is that I'm going to spin the wheel after Moonlight Sampler. And if it's something that I'm in the mood to work on, then I will. And if it's not, then I might postpone it for Anne. And might be my distraction, my procrastination, if you will. So we'll see. We'll see what happens from there. So that is that. That is it for the plans. It's a lot of I don't knows because everything is based on a wheel spin these days. With that, we are going to switch over and talk about some haul, some stashy stuff. In my last update video, I had a whole segment on haul and I cut it because the video was long enough on its own. And a lot of it was like pre-2023 purchases. I think all of it was. And so I just decided to shelve all that stuff and start fresh. So this is some recent stuff. On the subject of new starts, my plan was that on seasonal Sundays, yeah, I'm not doing so well with that. But on seasonal Sundays, I was going to work on the From the Heart needle art designs, the Quaker designs, the monthly Quakers. And so I've been getting a couple every month from Sammy. Her shop is Tiny Hummingbird Stitchery. She operates on Facebook, and it is always linked in the description box below. So I recently got April and May, and I really love the colors in April. I really, really love those colors. I hadn't intended on stitching these with the called for because they call for Classic Colorworks and I don't have a huge stash of that, but I really like April. I really like that a lot, so we'll see. But I haven't started them yet, so we'll see what happens when I actually do start them. And then I also have here Welcome Spring sampler, similar size as the monthly Quakers, just super sweet. Welcome spring, bring your flowers and make us smile. Gorgeous. So thank you, Sammy, for those. Okay. I also placed an order with Abby Top Knot Stitcher because I was after this right here. This is the 2023 Collector's Heart by Heart and Hand, and it's a kit. It comes with 32 count Belfast linen in Heartland by Picture This Plus, and it comes with Cottage Garden threads, leather bound. Gorgeous, gorgeous red. And I like this a lot. This is another one that I might start this weekend. Yeah. So if you're on Instagram and you follow me there, you might see a mass of starts. We'll see. But anyway, so there is that. This one's kitted. It's ready to go. I also picked up a couple of needle minders. We have the BAT and the Black Lives Matter, Women's Rights are Human Rights, No Human Being is Illegal, Science is Real, Love is Love. Well, looky there. That's pretty perfect. I swear I didn't plan that. I did not plan that at all. And a couple of other ones that I picked up. The Seasons of the Heart series by the Blue Flower. I'm gonna name and blame here. This is Lauren, the New Hampshire Stitcher's fault. Yeah, it's your fault. And so I'm collecting these now. And I'm not mad about it. And then one more purchase I have here. A project bag. This is a stitch and button bag. And it's the sloths, but it's more summery, more springtimey. I love this. So cute. And yeah, very excited for that. I did not get that one with a project in mind. I got that because it's pretty. I also picked up a couple of digital things. The first is a Heaven and Earth Designs. I got this a while ago, but I wanted to share it with you because it is something that I did a special request for. So this is Fairytales by Uliana Babenko, or Uliana, forgive me. And I loved this design from the jump. It's so cute. And it's another HAED that I'd like to stitch for my kid. But it's perfect for her. But I had some reservations about it when it was first released. So I sent in a special request to have it ray charted in anchor floss because all of the purples in it, DMC and purple, just DMC is not great at purple, and Anchor is a lot better at purple. And so Heaven and Earth Designs actually messaged me and they said, would you like this just standard colors or max color Anchor? And I went, well, what the heck, let's go with max colors. So I picked up that chart when it was released, the color expansion Anchor edition. So it's 179 colors, all in Anchor. And so I will have to find a source for Anchor. I know I can get it on 1-2-3 Stitch, but I'll have a look around. No plans to start that anytime soon, so no rush. The last thing that I have to share with you in haul is something that I bought this morning, and it is a design from Dee, our Stitch Dad. Dee's 20 Stitches here on FlossTube released the Let's Make a Statement design, and this one, I'm going to put in a picture here, is so very timely for the right now. It's very timely for the right now. And I am all about this. So here's another one that I might start this weekend. The variegated floss is a Brennan needle colorway that I don't think you can get. So I'm going to be using the suggested DMC alternative. It's going to be a little bit stripier, but that's okay. I'm all right with that. So I just thought that I would share that with you. You can get that on Dee's Ko-fi link, which I will link in the description box below. Dee does a lot for us for Stitch for Pride, both in June as well as all year here in 2023. I haven't done a very good job at participating in Stitch for Pride, but I intend to turn that around and write that because it's important to me. So that is it for the haul, and that is it for the stitching. So it's getting late, and so I think I have made the decision. I'm going to save books for next time. It's not a lot, and it's not likely to be a lot more for the next time, so we're just going to hold that till next time. I need to go have some lunch. It's 2:45, and so I need to do that. So I'm going to head off here and get this video edited and uploaded for you all. My plan is to be here after February 25th, so either on Saturday the 25th or at some point shortly thereafter. 2 weeks puts us at the 24th, but since I do whip go draws on the 25th, I'd like to do my next video after we get the new whip go call. So that will be the plan there, and I hope to bring 3 FFOs to share with you at least. We'll see. So with that, happy stitching, everybody. Thank you all so much for spending time with me today. I hope you enjoyed it. As always, be kind, stay well, and I will see you in the next one.